In this video, let's create a stunning sunset scene, capturing the warm, golden hues of the evening sky. Start with the canvas and palette setup. Prepare your basic colors, white and blue. Begin by applying a layer of white paint with a mix of blue, using horizontal strokes. This will serve as the base for the sky and background. We start building the sky. Add a soft layer of light blue and gently introduce yellow tones toward the horizon. Use horizontal strokes to blend the colors, creating a gradient from blue to yellow. This sets up a warm sky. We blend the yellow and blue to look coherent. Mix a little bit of orange and white to the yellow to have an orange tone in the sky. Apply white over both the yellow and blue areas like this, as this region is where the sun's color effect is the strongest. Introduce a brownish color in the lower section of the canvas. This will form the foundation of the foreground. Use a small brush to outline the rocks or land formation, starting to give some definition to the landscape. Continue to work on the foreground, blending brown and gray tones. Add layers slowly to build texture on the ground. The key here is to create a soft transition from the distant land to the foreground. Now, start adding clouds. Use a small brush to lightly tap on white paint, creating soft, rounded shapes. This step introduces depth to the sky, giving the illusion of floating clouds on the horizon. Refine the clouds by adding more layers. Blend the white and gray to create shadow areas under the clouds. Keep the top edges brighter where the light hits and blend the bottom for a smoother transition into the sky. Blend blue and orange to create a soft gray for the base layer of the clouds. Gently layer white on top to bring the clouds to life. For the top left corner, begin with lighter tones of white and gray. Keep dabbing the brush with a mix of white and gray, gently blending the colors to create a soft, cloud-like effect. Then gradually deepen the shade by adding subtle touches of orange or brown for a rich, dynamic effect. We repeat the same process on the right side as well for creating the clouds. Here, we're going to go a little upwards with the same combination of white and brown. We blend orange, white and yellow to capture the warm, glowing hues of a setting sun, creating the perfect illusion of an evening sky. The soft gradient of colors mimics the fading daylight, bathing the scene in a golden, serene atmosphere. Next, we layer white over the glowing colors to define the sun, bringing it into focus. Delicate strokes of white radiate outward, creating sun rays that complete the picture, giving it the perfect evening glow. Now, Work on the midground by adding green and yellow tones to suggest fields or hills. Use gentle strokes to blend the green into the landscape, giving a natural look to the distant terrain. Introduce darker green to the midground to create trees. Add some brown to indicate land and blend them into the existing background. You can use a fine brush for more detail, ensuring that the trees stand out. Enhance the trees by adding more green and shadows. Now, the landscape takes shape with defined elements. The contrast between the bright sky and darker land gives depth to the painting. Continue to refine the clouds and foreground. Add shadows to the bottom of the clouds for dimension, and work in some light highlights with yellow and white where the sun touches the sky. Add layers to the land and water reflection areas. You can introduce some blues and greens into the water using the dry brush technique, blending them into the landscape below the trees. Now work on the lighting by adding more highlights to the clouds. A light wash of orange and white adds a dreamy effect, as if the sun is beginning to set on the horizon. This will soften the landscape and bring warmth. Refine the distant horizon by adding subtle highlights of yellow, blending into the green land. This creates the feeling of light spreading across the sky as the day transitions into evening. Enhance the contrast on the landscape. Add darker tones of brown and green in the foreground to bring the viewer's attention toward the front, while maintaining the soft tones in the sky. Now, start adding final details like birds in the sky. Use a small brush to paint tiny bird silhouettes, giving life to the tranquil scene. This detail enhances the mood of a calm, peaceful atmosphere. Refine the final clouds by adding gentle highlights. Use a light touch of white and yellow to emphasize the cloud formations, creating the last touches of warmth in the sky. Finish up by adding small reflections in the water and some final touches to the landscape. Use a soft blending technique to ensure that all elements, clouds, land, and water, feel connected, creating a harmonious and serene scene.